So now we got to do the same thing on this side. So first thing first, depending on the soakers, these soakers are lead soakers code 4, so I'm gonna run flushing straight down to the top edge of the towel and let a little piece of soaker there be exposed. If you use aluminium soakers, really should run your flushing and get it over at least 2 or 3 inches over the towels and dress it down the towels. So this is why I'm not running over the towels, because I use lead soakers, and every single one is upturned on the end underneath the towel. So first need to cut it out. Now, because this has been painted with God knows how many coats, it's very hard with the dust and everything to get nice level cut, and that is very important. So I'm going to use level and a marker pen, and I'm going to highlight every position for every cut on every joint, and then I'll just cut in with a small blade, full depth in, just about 25mm, all the way in, and cut the slots for our step flushing. If you got nice exposed brickwork, you don't have to mark it up, it's just running marker pen over it. As I said, it's very hard to see with the dust and everything. It's very hard to see to do neat and straight joint cut on a brickwork like this, on a wall like this. So that's the only reason why I'm highlighting. Otherwise, a nice brickwork, you don't have to do that. You can see clearly your joints. Once it's all cut, dusty, so now I'm gonna cut a couple strips 6 inches long, wide, and about 1.5 meters just under in length. Sure, God, it's so dusty. And bring it here and offer it on. Now here's the strip, I offered it on. Now as you can see, it's quite gappy here, and it's touching there because the bottom of the roof kicks up. So I'm going to scribe this bottom end first, and here it is. It's nice and tight to the tiles. I just put snips there to hold it so I can record in the same time. Now I'm going to take a level, and just one of these I'm going to mark up nice and level. Let's get that bubble. Right, that's there, and it's hard to do it with holding camera. Then I'm just going to mark that up. That's going to be our template angle, and then just going to mark bottom of every joint, brick joint. Right. Okay, and now we can go and cut it all about. Now when it's down on the bench, I'm going to use my roofing square and take that template angle, so I can then repeat that angle on every mark that I made. But before I mark up the angles, I'm going to run about 2.5 inches off the bottom edge and just lightly mark up the line with a pencil, using level as a straight edge and as a guide, and that's going to be point of length of the cut. Now with a roofing square and preset angle, I'm going to mark up to that line. You can just faintly see the line with a pencil that's been made there. So just now joining basically the dots, going from that 2.5 inches straight line across to my markings for each brick joint. Next step will be joining these sections across, and that would form our downward angled cut. So I'll just keep joining them all using a bit of batten as a straight edge. As you can see, they're all marked up like a little dragon teeth. When I mark up top, hopefully it makes more sense. So we got our horizontal cut and then angle down. Just trying to turn camera so it actually looks well. Now next step will be marking up our fold. So I'm using 20mm batten or 19mm batten, marking up at our horizontal line, and then putting another line where I'm going to cut. So my initial line that was done from marking of the joint, that's going to be fold line, and the other side, other line is the cut. So now cutting the downwards angled section all the way to 2.5 inches straight line, and then the seat cut one, which is the one that goes in a joint, leaving little triangle off cut. As you can see, the cut goes all the way through and then one across, and I'm going to repeat that on every single one of these teeth. Once it's all cut, I'm going to flip it over, and then I have to bend each one of these flaps upwards, and they're going to go into the wall. So first just going to help them out just by free hand bending, so it's going to be easier in a minute. And using a batten as a straight edge, just bend them to the batten, and then if necessary just use a bit of a whacking stick and just flatten it down. So it goes from these 2 points. You can see the point there, outer point, and inside incision point, and just bend them. Again, this is the point, the end of incision and the corner, outer corner there. Just line up your straight edge and just bend the flaps. As you can see, all nice and neat, dressed, and we can take it upstairs now and install it. Now that's just been put in, and as you can see, it fits like a glove, because these are markings where I initially put on each step, and it was one of these that I took as a pattern for the angle, and there you go. All I need to do now is just cut lots of little pellets and whack them in. The way I do pellets, I just fold it like 3 times, flatten it a little bit with a hammer, cut it off, and that's a pellet. Get the bolster, hammer. Trying to do all this in one hand, and I usually take one of the top ones and then just guide it in. And then with a bolster force it really nice and snug inside, and that will hold that leaf. And then I have to repeat with every single one apart the very top one, because that's going to be joining one with the upper one. And that's basically it. You can see a pellet wedged in every single one. Another thing, don't beat it, make it as crisp as you can. And all it needs now, obviously after I finish another strip, you need to put a ladder on up to the ridge and finish that last strip. Will be patination oil, clean it all up nicely, oil it up, and then tomorrow when I finish the other roof, other porch, I'll plug it all up and put ridges on, bed the ridges on at the same time. But that's basically it, step flushing. And then once it's all installed, gloves on, patination oil, an old rug, and just coat the lead, clean it all up, just makes it all look nice and uniform.